Hello everybody, this is Marilyn Atkinson, and I am discussing with you your career as an eco coach. Now, I did a small talk last week. This is a review and revision of that talk. I would love to do this in a conversation with you. So every now and then I'll ask a question and pause and allow yourself to take that conversation in, think about it, be involved with it, and really consider your own answers. Now, I'll continue along fairly quickly, so we won't have time for discussion. But if you write down your thoughts as we go along, you'll have a framework here. My aim is to create a framework for you to think about becoming an eco coach or an ecology coach. Now, I'm working in partnership with Peter Stefani, Paul Gosson, Christopher Cook, Rosa Takova, and we're all delivering different parts of this conversation. In each of the conversations so far, my partners asked you, what does ecology mean? What is being an eco coach to you? And I wonder if so far you've really considered that question, because it's an important question. Ecology connects us to the world. When we talk about personal ecology, we're also talking about individual and beyond individual. We're talking about local and global. Ecology is one. It's our experience of connectedness. Now, this is one aspect, but we're also looking at the plant life and the animal life, the food sources, the water sources, the breathing that we do with the quality of oxygen we have, everything that allows us to live with Mother Earth. This Earth is our mother. And so we're going to examine ecology from lots of point of view. Now, one point of view is your career in the world as an ecology coach. Why would you want to do that? We've been going through 20 years where there's been very little interest in ecology in my neck of the woods. Now, some areas of the world, yes. But it's only been with Greta Thunberg last year talking to leaders and saying in a booming voice, you should be ashamed, that suddenly people all over the planet started saying, yes, what about our kids? What about this future? And corporations started to climb aboard. Now, things have changed a lot more with the COVID crisis. And my experience is that when the big economic crack happened in March 2020, huge changes started. See, I see a new world opening up. That wasn't just a small crack. I think what we're coming to is truly a paradigm shift. Now, what creates a paradigm shift? First of all, people think about their businesses in a new way. They think about their lives in a new way. They think about their families in a new way. They think about their connection to the future in a new way. And we as coaches can really assist people as they go through this shift now. I experience that the COVID crisis has really heightened and developed this conversation. So what would I like to talk about here? First of all, how to build your career as an eco coach. We're going to be going out and talking to leaders, if you haven't started already, who are repositioning their companies now. They must, even because of COVID. There's been a whole shift in the values of the world around us. People have come closer into their homes. You could call that the purple meme, the focus on family structure in time of crisis. But we've moved both to local and global at the very same time. People are moving beyond some of the concerns they had a month ago before the March deck of cards fell to the floor. The world economy completely collapsed. People have got a different arrangement of priorities. They're looking, some people are actually looking 20 years ahead. They didn't do that before. This is a huge opportunity for eco coaching. Now, who might be our customers as eco coaches? Well, first of all, there's a whole group of millennial leaders, and I'm going to spend some time talking about millennial leaders because the people born between 1981 and 1996 are uniquely positioned in this world. They've watched the ecology crisis happen. They've seen the fires burning in Brazil, Australia, in Borneo, in Siberia, in Western Canada and Western United States. Huge fires, big fires. And they've watched the response of leadership in their companies and in the world. And they are also connected to Generation Z, the Zoomers. Those are the people they know very well, coming into the companies, new potentials, but with a very different mindset about the world and what it means. They're also connected to the customer groups and stakeholder groups that are much younger than they used to be. 50% of the leaders now are millennials. The boomers are exiting. Generation X is discouraged. There's a lot of signals that the millennials will have a lot to say in the corporate environment moving ahead. So that's one reason you as an eco coach have people you can talk with. Let's just write some of these down. So, eco coaching, how do you build your business? And I'm saying we focus on the new economy, and I'll go into that more. We focus on millennial leaders. And I'll go into that more. We focus on strategy building because to be an eco coach, we need to assist corporations to build new strategies, to talk to new customers. And we need to look as coaches at what implementation coaching really means. We at Erickson have been spending the month of March and April designing for an online world. Many corporations with a lot of former frameworks that no longer work are attempting to turn their boat around, attempting to position themselves differently. So strategies mean we're assisting companies to reposition. And they need to know that we are capable to do that we can assist them as entrepreneurs to reposition their life, their genuine product connection to their customers, the conversations they have with stakeholders, and their corporate stories. Who are they as a company for the stakeholders they're talking with? So a big area is corporate storytelling. Now, as you look at this, you're probably thinking, how am I, as a coach, going to assist companies to instigate these conversations? Because many of them know a vague direction towards what they want, but they're not yet specific. One thing that we're going to talk about also is how to build your own story, how to build your own strategic plan so that you create positioning materials, you create storytelling examples, you show what a corporate ecology coach can do. And this is important because the way we design our story becomes the way that we design our mind. When corporates reposition everything, and that's what's happening, they redesign who they want to be in the world, how they want to talk to their stakeholders. They design a new vision that holds that all in place. And they discover how they can actually step into the shoes that they are wanting to walk in. So we've got a big job. We've really got a potential here, eco coaches, to shift the planet. It used to be much more difficult to talk to the people who are really interested in what we're doing. Now suddenly people want to shift. They want to shift fast. They want to shift strategically. They want to build a strong plan. They want to see some steps that make sense. And they want to move into action in a way that they can be proud of. And this is particularly true for millennial leaders. So let's start into some of these areas. Our whole social fabric is a design project, if you think about it. We're always living metaphoric lives. And when the structure of society begins to fray at the edges, and I say it's done more than fray, it's literally fallen. It's fallen into its own crevice, so to speak, the one that it built for itself. Now something new can emerge. And we need to stand for that. Now, the place you can fly that flag is on your website, on your brochure. You can talk to people who genuinely were shaken by Greta last summer, who said, yeah, the earth is our mother. I've been living for a month at home with my children. I see them well. I know how difficult it's going to be for them. So I'm going to explore with you a little bit about what you can put on your brochures, what kind of checklists you might want to give to leaders. Because when you come into the office of someone who has not worked with a coach before, and you say, look, this is something that might be of value to you, it's very useful to give them a small checklist. Which of these areas would be of deep interest to you right now, just coming out of the COVID era? And this is a checklist you can put on your own website as well, or you can send it to potential customers. And we want to point to new realities. Now, we can do that in our brochures. We can do that in our storytelling. This leads us gently into coaching conversations. Now, I'm going to ask you a funny question. If you were thinking about becoming an ecology coach and making it work, how committed are you at this point, from 1 to 10, to actually standing for a field of a purpose and value that you are just beginning to be able to speak to? Now, commitment is a funny thing. We need to find our words around it to speak to it well. We need to find our own metaphors. We need to find our own way of building this reality with our customers. So writing your brochures, writing your committed newsletters, speaking to people about what might be possible for them is a beginning that I invite you to move at least 1 point up that scale that you're putting down there. And just think, just suppose I did move it 1 point up. What would I start to do next? Because that is where we're going when we start our program on eco coaching. We're going to be moving that up notch by notch till your exploration becomes commitment, and your commitment becomes 100% commitment. And as you build that for yourself, your customers come because you become a magnet for them to find their feet as well in this new world. So take a moment and think about that. I'll just pause here for 20 seconds. Let's talk for a minute, as you think about these things, about corporate storytelling. You, like myself, have been facing a new world. And there's, for me today, mid-April, a lot of talk on the internet about shortages of food. There's a lot of talk about grow your own gardens. There's a lot of talk about local requirements are becoming local. There's a lot of talk that the shops will be closing because everyone's shopping for essentials online, and they're getting used to that. There's a lot of talk about living with less. People are becoming much more accustomed in 6 weeks to live with less. That means we're cooking our own food. We're finding ways to entertain ourselves and our family life. We're using YouTube. We're using various ways to learn together online. We're using a different strategy for being human. These are building new strategies. I personally saw that March 2020 was a very key month. It built a frame for new kinds of markets to emerge. And new markets need new stories. We're marketing to people who have felt the arrow of COVID and look ahead and see that this arrow might pierce very deeply. What does it mean to live with less? First of all, it means that corporations want to position themselves to the less that people find essential, stable, important, valuable, and real. They want to find authentic products and services they can promote. And they want to genuinely show that they are authentically serving their stakeholders. Now, this is a very different kind of approach than the approach of even a couple of months ago, where corporations were positioning themselves mainly around, hey, we're bigger and stronger than the competition, work with us because you might get a product faster or it'll cost less. That is relevant, but not as relevant as it was before. So I'm really convinced that this is the time for this critical new niche. These are people who want to become much more stakeholder focused. These are people who are talking to people, and they're talking as members of a community. They're talking to people that they work with and the people they sell products to with a different tone. One reason is because the millennials themselves are part of this community. And there's many more of them now. And they're much more concerned about the future. And they're also very concerned about stability. Millennials are wanting to experience that the world can provide them some certainty. Their jobs can provide them some certainty. And they're also feeling uncertain about themselves in this world because they're facing a world that I might call the VUCA world. And you know that term. It means volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And they've grown up in the VUCA world, a world where people are not finding solutions, not easily talking with them about anything beyond the next few years of GDP and ability to do what it takes to beat the competition. This does not create the world of purpose that they aim for. And to find certainty in uncertain times is a deep wish for millennials. They want to find work that they can be proud of. And as the boomers exit, more and more millennial leaders are coming aboard. And they're asking, how can I learn to lead? Now, strategic thinking gives them a huge leg up. And this is what we offer at Erickson. As coaches, we're coaching them in ways that build their experience of viability. We're showing them how to use whiteboards and build strategies out across a wall where they can see all the lines of development. This is what are the necessary steps. This is what are the necessary people. This is how we're going to put it together. But they're also working online, working with different kinds of programs which do exactly the same thing, using team coaching. A good ecology coach learns how to be an effective team coach so that you can assist them even as they work together across many countries to think like a team and think not only strategically but in terms of ecology. Really noticing that all the difficulties in one area affect all of us, and that Mother Earth is truly our mother. What we do to the planet affects every one of us. So we bring that theme in everywhere, local and global at the same time. So March was a key month for us. It was a month where many corporates have been repositioning. And it is a month where people started to think long term. So I suggest to you that as you build your framework as an eco coach, you emphasize that you are assisting the corporates, you're assisting each entrepreneur to plan their steps with an aim that goes a long ways out. This brings us beyond the inner VUCA, and our own inner uncertainty, because we can align ourselves with a certain goal that we say is worth it. We can align ourselves with attentiveness to our own customers. We move beyond ambiguity into attentiveness and the willingness to take people's needs seriously and say, we are here to help. It allows people to move beyond volatile, the area where the sea is choppy and the boat swings around and the boomers are retiring and the young leaders don't yet know how to do. To work with a coach who helps them find an area of volition in themselves, an area of genuine willingness to be committed and then be more committed. And to take seriously the area of complexity that they're addressing and link what they're doing in the company to some long-term meaning, a long-term legacy, a long-term connectedness to their customers. Now, I hope what I'm saying is of interest to you. I'm wondering your response, because I'm linking a lot of things together in a short period of time here. I'm talking quickly about a big topic. Eco coaching is a big topic. We need to be able to specify how to apply our work to entrepreneurs, specify how to apply our work to corporates, specify how to work with millennial leaders well, and have repositioning conversations well, and how to address the new economy and see areas of that our coaching can move directly towards, so that we can actually speak to the leaders who want us. Now, that means that as an eco coach, and as you start to build materials around this, you need to design your name. Now, I've been playing with names for a while here, because the word eco coach is not probably going to be compelling to a lot of your customers. You may be calling yourself a repositioning coach, or a regeneration coach, or a sustainability coach, or a revitalization coach. These are terms that came to mind for me. But again, we always link local to global. We notice that what we're doing in one place affects everything, and that all of this is an ecological focus. So the word revitalization also links to the world revitalization. The word sustainability links to world sustainability. The word repositioning allows us to look at our position in the world, because when the economy collapses, we actually can see the world and our position in the world. We're not just caught in an ideological fixation that is no longer valid. So building yourself means building an inner visionary framework as a coach. It means building a niche that people respond to with a yes. What is coaching? We build the yes with people. We speak the yes with people. We're assisting them to say yes to a future that once seemed uncertain, and where they can find some steps to take that give them their area of value and certainty. And we're assisting them to say yes to the legacy that they can create for their families, for their customers, for their corporate structures, for the people they work with, their staffs, and the people that they, in fact, embrace as humanity. That's us. We're looking at how you can start strong as an eco coach, and that's quite a conversation. How do you start strong? Well, first of all, as I mentioned before, build your own brochure copy and website copy as if you're going to make it a website. At least get started. Start to think about it. Yes, you'll hit your own complexity. Yes, you'll hit your own uncertainty. VUCA goes inside as well as outside. Yes, you'll hit your own volatility, up and down. The seas get choppy. Yes, you'll hit your own area of ambiguity. And so you get to work with yourself as you do this. And I suggest that you pretend at least that this is worth your fierce commitment. I said before that commitment makes all the difference. And I asked you to take a step, one step up. What would it take? Well, I'm going to invite you to think, what would it take to build fierce commitment? Fierce commitment is 100% commitment. Fierce is a very interesting word. It means that you wake up in the morning and say, I will do this. You wake up in the morning and find customers. You build that checklist and you send it to potential customers and leaders. You say, I'm the one you want to talk with. And then you do straightforward Erickson coaching. Excellent solution-focused coaching where you focus on how people can reposition, implement well, do what it takes to get there, start wherever they are, and begin to envision 20 years out into the new world. Now, that's not perhaps a great vision at the beginning. When we look from the future for a moment, say right now, you look 20 years out. What do you see? Crisis has become our life. See, this is a beginning, I think, of many crises going into the future. This is a beginning, since global warming has been intensifying, of different kind of ecology crises becoming more intense. Not only extremely hot areas, but water moving in, floods, as you know, different kinds of seashores rising up and compelling people to move their livelihoods, their cities. Within 20 years, it's going to be our cities, everyone. Food in 20 years may be a big problem because many of the dry lands, many of the green growing areas now where we produce our basic foodstuffs may be drying out. The ecology crisis we're in means that 7% more water goes into the atmosphere every day. That's just with 1% warming. It's probably less than 10 years to 2% warming. That's huge. It means the corals will be gone. The ocean will be in crisis, big crisis. So right now, when you look 20 years ahead, it's not a pretty scene. It's a situation where livelihoods are going to be different. Schooling will mean something different to our young people because many of the fields will no longer be the same. The medical field will be all online. People won't be visiting doctors. They'll be visiting websites. They may be speaking to specialists, but a lot of it will be coming online. The same with law, the same with accounting, the same with many of the prestigious areas that we grew up to build our careers in. So as you talk with corporate people, you're talking to people, millennials, looking at this future with much clearer eyes than they had before. This will bring up emotions. It'll bring up uncertainty. And we need to notice how to work with people as they redesign their livelihoods. This is what eco-coaching is all about. We are looking at the earth and us together. We're looking from the point of view of all of us finding our way through. We're also looking at the area of legacy. How can we, as we live, even with less, give more to those who are attempting to find their foothold in this new reality? How can we, as coaches, be seen as people who are the value-oriented visionaries that others want to talk to as they attempt to locate a future for themselves? Coaches, I invite you to become an eco-coach. Call it what you will, but take it into your heart. Call it what you will, but become fierce about it. Call it what you will, but assist others to build their commitment to sustainable work, sustainable business, sustainable entrepreneurship, and the efforts that we're all making together to move into a planet that has become stable once again. Eco coaches, come join us. Come to the next few meetings. Look at the last ones that were completed. Great conversations by Paul Gosson, Peter Stefani, Christopher Cook, and upcoming Rosa Takova. Please think about this niche and become an eco coach. Thank you.